If you liked gushers as a kid, there's 100% chance that you're gay now.
So everyone is gay.
Yeah, if they liked gushers. Everyone who liked gushers is gay. I know that. That's scientifically proven.
So that's what Kurt Cobain meant when he said everyone is gay. He meant that everybody loves gushers.
Yeah. Mm.
Because they love the gushers.
It's okay. It's designed to look like a diamond or a gem, and when you bite into it, the magical juice bursts in your mouth. That's gay.
Magical
That
juice in
belongs
your
to
mouth.
us.
It's always in like bright colors and like exploding
You know what
flavor.
else is called gems? The family jewels. Balls. You know who have balls? The gays. Gays have balls. Therefore, gushers is a gay snack. And if you liked gushers as a kid, it's 100% chance that you are a homo de la sexual. Which, by the way, is such an incredible drag name. What, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Homo de la Sexual. Hi, welcome back to our podcast. This is your dark mother, and I'm here to tell you about Homo de la Sexual serial killers.
Anyway, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about some more true crimes. Kelsey and Josh have found some peoples, and they're going to talk about it. And I'm just going to provide commentary.
So yeah, as your gay mom, I decided to talk about Andrew Cunanan. Now, Andrew Cunanan is most famous, I guess, for his murder of Gianni Versace, which is one of my favorite designers. And before you come for me, don't even try. Like, he died in the 90s, and his designs are still being used to this day. The man was a genius when it came to combining accessory and luxury with like sexy wear, night clothing. Like, the way the man saw things was just inspirational. That's all I'm gonna say. And he was actually kind of a nice person, so like double sad. So Andrew Cunanan was, if I'm getting this right, I think he was half Filipino. I might be wrong, but so Andrew Cunanan in his youth was raised, like, I guess we could say middle class, and there are questions about like the legitimacy of his father's business and if maybe he grew up around a criminal mindset or such. I don't know that much because it's not my family. So like all of these stories are secondhand. So like I'm saying, this is just chisma. This is just gossip. Remember, he's a serial killer, so I don't feel that bad for him. So anyways, young Andrew Cunanan was always seen kind of as like the class clown, but also really intelligent. And like he wanted to be a charmer. He wanted people to like him. And he also wanted to, like, he had delusions of grandeur. Okay. She wanted to be a star. That's essentially what I'm saying. She knew she was made for stardom and headlines, and she was gonna get there no matter how she got there. So apparently Andrew Cunanan was pretty fit, as they say in the UK. He had a fit little body. It was right. It was right in the right places. Unfortunately, he was suffering from mental illness that made him want to kill people. I refuse to apologize for that.
Good, I'm glad.
Okay. Is it bad that that's what British people sound like to me? I love it though. I live for it. So yeah, he was a little bit of a male escort because he was hot. And so there are like conflicting accounts whether or not he identified as gay or if he rejected that label, because I guess he did have a girlfriend in high school, but like, didn't we all?
You didn't.
Okay.
I don't know why you said
I
didn't we
never
all?
did. I never did. I'm a star. I was the woman in the relationship. Yeah, so I guess that's pretty much all of his young life. So when, I guess in his adult life is when he started abusing party favors, entertaining powders and potions. Drugs, we're talking about drugs.
As we did in the 80s.
Yes,
apparently.
as we would have done in the 80s. And so she was a fan of opioids, ahead of the curve. Cocaina, love that for her. and the blessed green goddess herself, Miss Mary Juana. And like all psychos, myself included, she retained many aliases. She loved to go by different names. We love a good wig reveal. We love a 2-second costume change. She was very that. So he met Gianni Versace in San Francisco, and they began sort of a weird relationship, but he sensed something was off about him, and so he broke up with him. And then Andrew Cunanan went psycho and stalked him and killed him and his boyfriend. Or I guess no, his boyfriend survived. No, he just killed him.
I was gonna say, like, he didn't kill Versace's boyfriend.
No. His boyfriend survived. He just killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like the last on the list, though.
Another prominent person he killed was a businessman who liked, I guess, to be tied up and blindfolded, which, like, I'm not here to kink shame. Get into it, with older daddy. Do your thing. And so Andrew Cunanan took this as a sign to murder him, because we love that.
Oh, that was a real estate developer.
Yes.
And
was he the first guy?
That I'm not.
Because I know Versace was the last guy.
But another thing
I know that he also, I guess, killed an ex-boyfriend's lover or something like that. The dude killed people.
He was also into violent pornography, recording it.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Come on, Jesus.
Okay. So this is what I found. It's just that part.
Yeah, no, I love that. He died in 1997 because it didn't take long for the police to kind of like put the dots together. I think from when he started killing to his death, it was only 3 months. So they caught up to him like pretty quickly, I guess. And he killed himself rather than be captured by the police. Yeah.
And didn't they find like his body like was surrounded by like newspapers talking about like the various killings, including like Versace?
Oh yeah, no, he was very into headlines. Like I said, foreshadowing. Like I said before, he wanted to get his name on that front page, no matter how he got there. And I mean, he got there.
But we don't actually know what his real motivation was, like, because like you said, he killed himself.
Mm-hmm. Did he leave?
Yeah, no, I honestly think that his motivation was just, I guess, like notoriety or just like adulation.
That's what I would think.
Yeah, because it like he would change with every alias he had. He would like just completely reinvent himself and make himself seem like he was a famous like artist, or he was a designer student, or like whatever he needed to do to make himself like ingratiated into his next Mark's life. That's what he would do. And it's like, you know, like if he just focused all of that energy and talent into something positive, who knows? Andrew Cunanan might have been a really great actor, or like maybe he was into the more like kinky stuff, and maybe he would have been a really great porn actor in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
You know, like, because clearly he liked to dress up, he liked to play characters, and he was into, I guess, a certain degree of performative sexual stuff.
Yeah.
He liked his work to be seen, let's put it that way. So I don't know, like maybe in an alternative universe, Andrew Cunanan saw a therapist just in time, and he's a well-adjusted retired porn actor.
But he knows. So anyway,
anything else on Andrew Cunanan?
I mean, I think that's the basic story of it. From what everybody says, he was incredibly charming and very well dressed, and was always like the life of the party. Which
Bundy?
I mean,
Is that you?
yeah. Like, people did not describe him as creepy per se. They just, like, he had an energy around him. Like, his aura was, like, pretty, like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, because he got...
But outwardly, like, if you were just walking by him in the street, you'd probably think that he was, like, a really cute, well-dressed guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he got voted least likely to be forgotten in high school.
Oof.
And from what I did read... he did identify as gay because he got into an argument with his mom about it, and like I guess he like dislocated her shoulder.
I do remember reading about that.
Yeah.
Like, so that's why I said it was really confusing, because there are moments where he said that he was gay, but then I guess to his lovers or whatever, maybe to his clients that he was escorting for,
his sugar daddies.
he was, Yeah, he was known to say that he wasn't gay, but I don't know if that was just because that amplified the fantasy for them, because I do know that it's kind of like, as cliche as it is, there is like a little bit of truth to the stereotype that some guys, especially back in the day, were more attracted to like masculine men. And we can talk about why, but like generally and genuinely, I think it was because of, trauma and also safety, because if you were two masculine men, you would be less likely to be hate crime than two feminine presenting
Yeah.
men.
Mm-hmm.
So like I understand a little bit of it, but like also it's 2021 and maybe we should break that down and like really work on that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. So who's our next one?
Our next one is a Mr. Lucian Carr. I don't know if it's Lucian or Lucian. I've heard of both ways. But I'm gonna call him Lucian because that's how they said his name in the
Lucian.
movie. Yeah. So Lucian Carr was born March 1st, 1925, and was a key member of the original New York City circle of the Beat Generation in the 1940s. Now, if you don't know what the Beat Generation is, it was a literary movement that was started by like a group of authors whose work like explored and influenced American culture and politics in like the post-war era. And most of it was like published throughout the 50s, and it usually like dealt with stuff like the rejection of economic materialism, exploration of Eastern and American religions, explicit portrayals of the human condition, experimentation with psychedelic drugs, and sexual liberation and exploration. Some like famous stuff like that maybe some people might know is like Allen Ginsberg's Howl, Naked Lunch by William S. Burroughs, and Jack Kerouac's On the Road. All these people are important in regards to this story, hence why I bring them up, because they were all friends with Lucian Carr. So yeah, he was born in like New York City to Marianne Howland and Russell Carr, and they were both like pretty well off. So he had a pretty good influential upbringing, you could say. Very privileged white boy. At the age of 12, he would meet somebody that would change his life. His name was David. I don't know how to say his last name, but it's spelled Kammerer. Kammerer. I just know that he was played by the guy that fucking played Dexter. So we're just gonna call him David, I guess. And David was a teacher of English and physical education instructor at Washington University in St. Louis, and he was a childhood friend of like William S. Burroughs, who was the guy that wrote The Naked Lunch. And he met Carr when he was leading a Boy Scout troop, of which like Carr was a member, and he quickly became infatuated with the teenager, which is very, very yikes, because he was
yes.
Oof.
a grown adult. Over the next 5 years, he would pursue Carr and like show up wherever the young man was enrolled at school, and Carr would later insist, as would his friends and family, that David had been hounding him sexually with a predatory persistence that would be considered stalking today. But it's a matter of debate on whether or not his attentions towards Carr were flattering or frightening. But what is not in dispute is that Lucian moved quickly from school to school, from like the Phillips Academy to Bowdoin College and the University of Chicago, and that David followed him to each one. And occasionally the two would socialize, which is weird. Like, if you think this guy is stalking you, like, why are you hanging out with him? I don't really understand that one. But
Wouldn't it be because of the Boy Scout troops?
well, he wasn't in Boy Scouts forever. Like, when he moved from all these colleges and shit, like, he was an adult. Like, he was a teenager to an adult, and he was just, and wherever he went, David moved to. And some friends of like David's, like Burroughs, for example, believe that like there was romantic intentions, but like nothing sexual ever happened, apparently. And apparently it got to Lucian so much that he ended up putting his head in a gas oven trying to kill himself. But later would say that it was a work of art, which nobody believed, and it ended up leading to a 2-week stay at a psychiatric ward at Cook County Hospital. And then after that, he would enroll at Columbia University, where he would meet people like Allen Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac, so on and so forth. And of course, David would follow him to Columbia. As a freshman at Columbia, he was like recognized as like an exceptional student, and everybody thought he was pretty much the cool kid on campus. He was the class clown, very extroverted, very intelligent. He helped people, like, he helped inspire people in regards to, like, some of their later writings, like On the Road and things like that. And, like, I think Allen Ginsberg, the guy that wrote Hal, was, like, super duper in love with him, and he would write about him constantly. So he was, like, Lucian was a pretty popular dude, and was a big influence on pretty much everyone that would come out of that generation. And, of course, David would be, like, in this group as well, but kind of like a fringe member of the crowd, like, kind of just in the background, super, like, infatuated with Carr, still following him around. And at one point he would crawl into Carr's room via the fire escape and watch him sleep for half an hour. Very Edward Cullen, very not cute. Please don't watch people while they're sleeping. There's nothing romantic about staring at people while they're asleep or breaking into their house.
There really isn't.
And I guess on one occasion, like, Burroughs, David's friend, found him trying to hang Jack Kerouac's cat, Jack being, like, Lucian's friend. So, like, he was starting to go a little more crazy than he already was, because I don't think a sane person will try to hang somebody's cat. That's a little scary. And this would eventually lead into August 13th, 1944, where Lucian Carr and Jack Kerouac attempted to ship out of New York to France on a merchant ship, because they wanted to fulfill a fantasy of, like, walking across France in character as, like, a Frenchman and his deaf-mute friend. So they weren't going to be themselves. They were going to, like, portray, like, they were going to be, like, living art in France, I guess. Very fucking pretentious bullshit. But it didn't work out, and they ended up getting kicked off the ship before it even took off, which ended up with them separating and Carr going into Riverside Park and meeting up with David. Now, according to Carr's version of the night, he and David were resting near West 115th Street, where David made apparently another sexual advance. When Lucian rejected it, he said that David assaulted him physically, and as David was larger, he gained the upper hand. In desperation and panic, Lucian said he stabbed the older man by using a Boy Scout knife from his St. Louis childhood, and then he would tie his hands and feet, wrapped David's belt around his arm, weighed the body with rocks, and dumped it in the nearby Hudson River.
Okay.
After that, yeah, good times.
Okay, then.
He would, after that, he went to the apartment of William Burroughs and gave him David's bloodied pack of cigarettes and explained the incident. And Burroughs told him to turn himself in and get a lawyer, you know, like you should. But instead, Lucian went and found Jack Kerouac again, and with the aid of another friend, Herbert Hunkel, they helped him dispose of the knife and some of David's belongings before the two men would go, like, to the Museum of Modern Art to look at paintings, I guess, because, you know, after killing somebody and, like, hiding the evidence,
you gotta look at paintings.
Exactly. But finally, Carr went to his mom's house and then to the office of the New York District Attorney, where he would confess. The prosecutors, uncertain whether the story was true or whether a crime had even been committed, kept him in custody until they recovered David's body. Lucian would identify the corpse and lead police to where he had buried David's eyeglasses in Morningside Park. Jack Kerouac, who was identified in the New York Times, was arrested as a material witness, and Burroughs, but they both got, like, out on bail, I guess. Burroughs before Kerouac, of course, because he had more money. We love that for us. Bail is so great. And then Lucian would be charged with second-degree murder. The story was closely followed in the press since it involved a well-liked gifted student from a prominent family, New York's premier university, and the scandalous whiff of homosexuality. The scandalous.
Oh la la.
The newspaper coverage embraced Lucian's story of an obsessed homosexual preying on an appealing heterosexual younger man who finally lashed out in defense. This would be called an honor slaying, which is an early example of the gay panic defense, which I believe we've talked about before on the podcast.
Yep.
We have.
Which, just as a reminder, it's a legal strategy in which a defendant claims that they acted in a state of violent temporary insanity, committing assault or murder because of unwanted same-sex sexual advances. So this was one of the first cases where this happened, which, like, regardless of whether or not, like, it was warranted, him, like, you know, killing him or whatever, gay panic defense is gross and should not be a thing. But it should have just been a self-defense thing, in my personal opinion. Lucian would plead guilty to first-degree manslaughter, and his mother testified at a sentencing hearing about David's predatory habits. Lucian was sentenced to a term of 1 to 20 years in prison, and he served 2 years in the Elmira Correctional Facility in upstate New York and was later released. There was dissenting opinions about the case, however, because there was friends of David's that were like said that he wasn't predatory and that Lucian has led him on since the beginning, and he was not gay or an obsessive stalker, which I'm sorry, like, there's no dispute that David moved wherever Lucian moved. You can't tell me that that's not stalking.
Yeah.
Like, you can't,
Or
no,
unhealthy.
like, especially, like, and you can't defend somebody, like, a grown-ass man, like, following around anyone, much less, like, a child up until, like, their early adult years. That's, like, stop. That was irritating to me. That's something that's actually gaining traction. They're trying to, like, act like David wasn't this actual, like, homosexual predator or whatever. Like, he literally followed this kid around, like, the vast majority of his life. You can't tell me that's not predatory behavior. Like, I'm sorry.
He was obsessed with him since he was 12.
Which is not okay.
There can be arguments made about whether or not, like, I guess Lucian, like, entertained the idea, but even if he did, like, he was a teenager, so it's still not consensual. Like, even his other friend, William Burroughs or whatever, was like, nah, dude was, like, obsessed with him and tried to kill a motherfucking cat. Like, I'm sorry, it just irritates me that this is, like, kind of gaining traction in, like, true crime Tumblr gay world. I'm like, please, don't defend shitty people. Just, that's not cute.
Please don't do that.
It makes me angry. So after his prison term, Lucian would go to work for the United Press International, where he was hired as a copy boy. He remained on good terms with all of his beat friends, and he would marry somebody named Joan Haverty and have kids. He was credited with helping write the entire first draft on the road or whatever, or he helped him, like, inspired him. Ginsberg, he dedicated Howl to Lucian Carr, which, if you guys want to read some interesting literature, please look up Howl by Allen Ginsberg. Like, he's a shady dude, but I had to read that in college, and lots of talk about dick and feces. So, just in case you're
okay.
But, like, just so everyone's aware, like, I love Allen Ginsberg's work, but he's kind of a piece of shit. He was a part of NAMBLA. I don't know if you guys know what NAMBLA is, but it's a pro-gay pedophilia organization.
That one, yes.
Oh, I
hate
he said
that.
he was a part of it for free speech reasons, which, like, if that's true, it's still shitty. Like, I'm sorry, you're still trash. You're trash.
That's still gross. Don't
join pedophilia organizations. Anyway, like I said, he had 3 children, one of which became an author himself, and he published a book called The Alienist, which is now a TV show with Dakota Fanning. It's really good. And he spent the last 47 years of his life as a professional at the publishing house that he was working at, and he would later die at George Washington University Hospital in Washington, D.C. in January 2005 after a long battle with bone cancer. So that's our dude. Go watch Kill Your Darlings. It's a 2013 film that talks about this case, and it has Daniel Radcliffe in it and the guy from Dexter.
It's really, really good.
You get to see Daniel Radcliffe's butt, which I really appreciate.
That's the selling point.
Yeah.
It's a great selling
So
point.
you get to see his butt, and you get to, like, see him, like, flirt with Dane DeHaan, who plays Lucian Carr. If you don't know who Dane DeHaan is, look him up. He's so fucking cute. And yeah, it's a good movie. It's a fictionalized account. Like, there's a lot that's, like, not true that's in the movie, like the fact that Lucian would use David as, like, a way to, like, get his essays done or something, which that never happened. Lucian was a smart person. He didn't need somebody else to do his work for him. And it definitely played on the whole, like, ooh, is Lucian gay thing, which is fun, but historically inaccurate. But yeah, that's all I got on that.
Nice.
I stand by my statement, though, that I think, like, they shouldn't have used the gay panic defense, but I don't think he should have gotten, like, life in prison or anything. I kind of get why.
Yeah,
I don't think
I'm a little sympathetic.
Yeah.
It's a complicated case, for sure.
Yeah, because I mean,
my guy definitely was just kind of a psycho.
Kind
Yeah.
of.
Was a psycho. Yeah.
Yeah, yours. He deserved it. The poor.
Can you imagine what being stalked your entire life would do to your psyche?
Yeah,
Yeah, truly.
I don't know. I just
and that's kind of like the hard point to get past. Is like the poor guy was stalked from his Boy Scouts troop member. Like I think it was like the adult of the whole troop.
the other leader.
Stalked by this dude everywhere since he was 12. That's gotta suck. I mean,
But he wasn't predatory, you guys. He wasn't predatory.
No.
Lucian left him on.
Nah, like he probably honestly, like if Lucian like did like entertain him a little bit to keep his attention, like I can kind of see that. Like what else are you supposed to do? Like I think it wasn't like a hee I like the attention. I think it was just desperate, you know what I mean?
It was desperate, and like he was a kid, so like how else is he supposed to, like, how do you react rationally to that when you're like your brain isn't even fully developed, and like this is somebody that you looked up to at first? Like you don't know whether to be terrified or like make them your friend. I don't, either way, ew, don't follow people around, especially children. Like, I'm sorry, like as much as I hate that the gay panic defense was used, I don't feel sorry for you that you got murdered, man. Like, I mean, I don't think that it should have ended that way, but like, I don't feel bad. I'm sorry, I just don't, because that's fucked up. And the fact that he like turned himself in pretty quickly, like obviously, like it wasn't that.
It wasn't
It
malicious.
wasn't like he was. Yeah, it was just like I didn't know what else to do at this point.
Yeah, I get that. I get it. Okay, does anybody else have anything they want to say?
Go watch Kill Your Darling. And go watch The Assassination of Gianni Versace. It's on Netflix, and it has Darren Criss, and it has Cody Fern, who's super cute.
It's actually really, really good. It's a
really
very
good, really well done.
bingeable true crime show.
Yeah. I like that season better than the O.J. Simpson season.
Same. I think it was, like, honestly, beautifully shot. The costuming was on point. The acting was really great. Go watch it.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's your homework, listeners. Go watch Kill Your Darlings and Assassination of Gianni Versace. You'll thank us later. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We are on all the podcast websites pretty much, except for iTunes. I'm going to send out good, positive vibes that we won the Georgia Senate races, because they are tomorrow by the time we're recording this. So hopefully by the time
Manifesting energy.
Manifesting good energy, blue energy.
Energy.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all we have for you.
All right, so see you guys next time. Adios.
Bye.
Bye.